Hi everyone, in today's lesson I would like to demonstrate how to create a simple macro and store it into either a document or a template in Word. I'm using Word 2016, but the steps are exactly the same in Word 2013 as well. Okay, so the first thing is, what is a macro? Macro is a series of steps pre-recorded, and they are controlled either by a couple of shortcut keys on the keyboard or by creating a little tiny button like the one you can see a few of them on my screen at the top. So when you click on the button, the macro runs. So if I give you an example, if I click on it, see the macro has opened header and footer, and it's asking me to record or enter some details. That's all a part of the macro. So why do we have to actually create macros? Because, for example, in the one that I just showed you, I do that pretty much for every single file that I use every day, that is inserting some details into the footer. So instead of doing or opening the footer every day and click all the buttons that put file name and date and all of those things into the footer, instead of doing them all over and over again every day, I can record all those steps one day into a macro, and the macro I can choose to run either by a button or by a couple of keyboard shortcuts. And once the recording is finished and the macro is stored, then I can press those buttons, and then all those steps that I've recorded will run automatically in the background. Now, macros are controlled by Visual Basic Programming. I am not a programmer, so I cannot explain how the programming side of it works, and we don't need that. All we need to do is how to make a macro and how to use that and how to delete and redo it if it is required. So that's what we will do. Okay, so for us to create macros in Word, the first thing we need to do is to make available one of the tabs. See, we have these tabs up here, file, home, etc. We need another additional tab. It's called developer. So to access that, we have to go into file, then we have to go into options, and then see on the left side you have this button called customize ribbon. And if you look at it carefully, on the left side you have popular commands, and on the right side you have customize ribbon, and it says main tabs. You notice that all of them are ticked except one. That means we have a home tab, we have an insert tab, we have a design, and all those tabs except one, which is the developer tab. So put a tick for that one and tick OK. Now, in most of the computers, the settings are such that you will not be able to run macros without changing some security settings. So to do that, and there are always a couple of ways, but one I can show you is you go to developer tab, which we just put up at the top alongside the rest of the tabs, and then go to macro security. See where it says code, macro security, and make sure you tick this radio button, the dot, enable all macros. Okay, I've already done that, and click OK. If you don't enable all macros do not run. Some of them might run, some of them might not. So to make all macros run, this is the second thing you do, and then click OK. So going back, first you have to make the developer tab accessible by going into file, options, customize ribbon, and tick developer. That's the first one. And once developer tab comes up, you click on developer and click on macro security and enable all macros. Okay, once that's done, then we have to decide to record a macro. Like, what macro should we record? I will show you a macro that will put in a file path into your footer. File path is the location where your file is stored, page number and date. Now you might not have to put in all of those details into all documents, but you can choose to record whichever one you want to commonly use. So let's learn all of them. So then you can apply or you can create a macro for either all of them to be inserted into the footer or one or two depending on your requirements. And before I get on to recording, when you record a macro, by default the macros are stored into the computer's hard drive. Yeah, they do not they store into the computer's hard drive and they remain there. Okay, so let's say if I want this document to have a macro in it, and then I circulate the document to all the customers, all the office people that use this document, I have to do something slightly different to normal recording. That's what I will show you. So the topic is, how do we record a macro and store it into the document which I want to send to multiple users? So that what happens then is, if I store macro into this document, wherever the document goes, macro also goes. If I don't store it into this particular document, the document when sent to other people will have all other functions except the macro, because the macro remains on my computer where I have created it. Okay, so let's create a macro. Now first let me delete this footer that I've put in. I'll just get rid of that one. Okay, open a blank document, and we already have a developer tab there, and we check the macro security. Everything's fine. And then we will go record a macro. Now you can click on developer and you can click on record macro, or some people would like to go to view, macros and record macros. Either of them is fine. They do exactly the same thing. And then at the bottom of the screen too, you can see this little button there next to where it says English Australia. No macros are currently recording. Click to begin recording a new macro. So you can do that as well. So 3 different ways we can do that: by developer, by clicking on developer and record macro, or clicking on view, macros and record macro, or just go down to the bottom of the screen and click on this little button. Whichever way, they all do exactly the same thing. So let's go into developer. Now before recording, I should also mention this. I said we are going to record a macro that inserts file path, that inserts a page number, that inserts a date into the footer. First you need to know how to do all those things, and then only you can record a macro using all those skills. So if you do not know how to insert file path or date or page number, you practice that first before recording the macro. Okay, learn how to do that and then you come and record. Since I know how to do those, I'm recording straight away. So click on record macro, and I will change the macro name. It says macro name. I will change it to footer underscore details. Now use underscores or no space, but please do not insert space between footer and details or any of the words that you insert as a name. So name should be either separated by an underscore, if it's got multiple words in it, or a name can be just one word without the underscore. Footer details, I want to use an underscore. Okay, then we have assign macro to button and a keyboard, but this is where people get stuck, like they click on keyboard first before deciding where to store. Yeah, so store macro in document 1, but actually I should have saved this document first. So I will cancel it. My apologies, I'll cancel that. First save the document and then you start recording. Okay, file, save as, and then you save wherever you are saving. I'll save on my desktop. You can save wherever you want, and then we call this footer. This can be normal typing, details macro. And also you can do this save as type macro enabled document. If it's a template, you can save as a template. You can save as macro enabled template. So I will just save it as macro enabled document for now. I'll save. Now I'm going to recording again. So click on developer, record macro, and I'll change the name to footer details, and store. So number 1 is changing the name. Number 2 is store macro in the document you wish to save it into. Very important you do that. And then you can write description, footer inserts, file path, macro inserts, file path, date and page number in the footer. Okay, description is not compulsory, but we'll have that. Then click on keyboard. I'll leave the button for now. Keyboard, I'll click on it. Now the second window comes up, which is called customize keyboard. And see, already the naming is done, so the name is there. Now specify keyboard sequence. Current keys, there is nothing there. It says press new shortcut key. So I will click on it and say Alt F. Yeah, when I click on Alt F, you've got these popped up or be activated. Currently assigned to, it says unassigned. Save changes in, you need to make sure you select footer details. So at 2 stages you have to make sure you are saving into this particular document you are going to distribute to people. So click assign and close. Now we have only set up the macro, we haven't actually recorded it. So we will go record it now. Insert, footer, and edit footer. So the footer is open. Once a footer comes up, you notice that there's a design button at the top. You don't have to leave that button. Everything is available there. The first one is page number. Okay. Then you select current position and you select whichever type of page number you want. I'm selecting bold numbers, page 1 of 1. And then press the tab key on the keyboard. Please do not press space bar. Then to do the date, you go into date and time, and then you select whichever date you want, or I'll select the full date. Click OK. Then I will press enter to insert the file path. Now to insert the file path, you do it slightly differently. Now go into quick parts, field, and look for file name. See in the list you have file name, add path to file name. Click OK. So where did I go? I went into design, quick parts, then I selected field, file name, add path to file name. OK. And once that's done, I want to make this footer not bold. So I select Ctrl A to select the footer, go to home and make it not bold, and font size make it 8 or 9. I made it 9. Mine's looking a bit smaller because my zoom is now it's 100%. So I'll make it 8. So page number, date, and file path. Now remember, you have to be on design, and then you go to quick parts, field, file name, and add path to file name. When you click OK, the file path comes in. Once that's done, go and close header footer. Okay. Now click on save your document, or we will stop recording. So to stop recording, you either go to developer and stop recording, or you can go to the bottom little square, the regular stop button for any of the audio things that we use. So stop recording, and that's finished. Okay. Now to test the macro, I will just delete the everything in the footer, close header footer. Now the shortcut keys I allocated was Alt F. So when I press Alt F, Now you see that the footer has come in. Yeah, so yeah, you can delete that and circulate the document to your clients, customers, co-workers, whoever it is. So you might have to watch this video a few times before you get that. Okay, see you next time. Bye.